I've just started playing the see you soon thing. So if we give that a couple of minutes, I don't understand why this WeTransfer is not working though. Let me try again. It's just sat at 0%. I wonder if it's because I'm streaming. No, it's alright at this end.
Challenge of motion. This is part 2 of the first one we did was reflections, wasn't it?
That was last week.
Yeah, reflections, and then this one we're going for motion. So basically what this is using the camera in a different way to what we've done previously. And I guess that's just how I guess that depends on what you're looking to capture then, doesn't it, as to your settings. But what would you say as a general rule would be your settings?
It depends what effect you're going for, doesn't it? Like if you're wanting to freeze motion or if you're wanting to be able to actually show motion. And that's all down to personal preference, isn't it, really? It's one of those. I mean, I had the same issue that you had last week in a way, in that it was chucking it down when I was literally about to go out, and it was chucking it down. So I struggled, as you will see. And you did all right. I heard you. I saw some pictures.
Oh, did you?
Pictures on Facebook. Was that today?
Of when? Last week?
This week. Ogden.
All right.
The same place you went last week, though, isn't it? But the weather was very different.
No, that's where I was. That's where I was. Those were from the previous week.
Okay.
So we're going to jump into the intro, and we'll look to see what we've got to get on with tonight, then.
Good idea.
See you in a minute. 3, 2. All right,
so we've got. You know?
Oh yeah.
That's the second time I've played that intro. Forgot we were doing it the other way around this week.
Do you know what? We were doing, and I was that excited that I jumped straight into it.
Never mind. 2 foot price of one.
Yeah, never mind. So as Scott was saying, that we're doing the motion tonight, and depending on what your settings are, I personally wanted to keep away from the freeze frame. I wanted to show actual motion, which sometimes can be quite hard, really, can't it? Because depending on how, I mean, the main trick is when you're wanting to capture motion as opposed to freezing it, you've got to lower your shutter speed in order to allow the movement to go past whilst the shutter's open. And I guess you can go too far with it, can't you?
You don't want everything to be blurry. And a tripod, I would say, especially if it's a landscape kind of thing that you're wanting to do, whether that be waterfalls or rivers or whatever, a tripod is pretty much a necessity for it. But I'm hoping you've gone with water and waterfalls and stuff, because
No,
we'll have to see what we've got then, because we might have something similar. Who knows?
I got a feeling we haven't.
Yeah, we never do we? So.
In fact, we possibly have, because as you'll see in my video in a minute, I started off going for the first thing that came into my head, which I'll confess now is traffic.
Right. Okay.
But I didn't feel like it had enough substance really, with what I was particularly doing anyway. So I actually tried quite a few things, which you will see a selection of things that I tried, and all of them required different settings, because there was some outside, then I did some inside, and then I did actually do some freeze frame, but there's a reason I did the freeze frame, which you will see. But on the ones where I captured the motion, on all of them, I obviously used a tripod, because like you say, you want to make sure that the background or the thing that isn't moving is clear. And
I didn't use a tripod on any of mine.
Really?
Yeah, but you'll see. That don't mean they're good. That don't mean they're good. I probably should have used a tripod. There you go. We'll see.
Yeah. So, shall we have a look at mine then, first of all?
See what you got up to. You want to count us in?
Yeah, so basically, as I said, I tried a few different things, and I settled on something which just came into my head, but see what you think. 3, 2, 1. So I spent most of the morning trying to think of something to do for this week's task, which is motion. And I didn't want to do something which I'd done before, because most of the tasks that me and Scott have done have involved some kind of motion to some degree or other. So I didn't want to repeat that kind of thing. So the first thing that I thought I would try was this, which is taking daylight shots of traffic going by. And whilst that was alright, I didn't feel comfortable in just handing these few shots over and saying, there you go. So then I decided to try some shots with the dog, and they didn't really turn out as I expected, so I canned them ones. So then I thought, maybe if I do some general shots of myself just going about my own business, which I think these look alright, but still I was thinking that this possibly isn't adequate really. So then I settled on this, which you will see in a minute, and I think it's something a little bit different, but it's animation. So let's have a look. So, dog treats.
Yeah, definitely know what I've done, but it's definitely not what I've done. So I like that. I thought that it was very creative, which we know you are. That needs to make its way into intro somehow, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was quite good fun actually. I was almost almost come to a standstill because the ones that I showed you before, the car, which okay might look all right, but I didn't particularly think that was anything special. And the dog one, I just I couldn't go out of the garden, but I just couldn't get that right. And then I thought the ones in the kitchen when we're drinking coffee,
like
I've kind of done that before to a degree where I've been lurking about, and then I thought maybe if I do some stills, so basically with the um, animation that I did at the end, I had my camera over the top and I had it on time lapse. So basically, I set the interval for 5 seconds, which gave me enough time to gradually move each dog treat and then get my hand out of the way before the next picture went off. And
I like it.
Initially, I went with the S and J show, but then when I realised afterwards, I thought I'm actually enjoying this better than I expected. So I kind of wish that I'd have gone for the other one now.
Full thing. Written it out.
Yeah.
How long were you? How long were you at it then? From when you first got the idea and set up to when you kind of finished with the smiley face and everything.
I was probably hello.
I'm here. Are you there? What have you done?
I was, but something just happened. Oh yeah, I'm there still. But basically, I was there probably about 5 minutes or something.
That's not too bad.
Oh, no, it wasn't 5 minutes at all. It was it was probably about 15 minutes I was doing it. But as soon as I got the hang of it, it was completely fine then.
No, good. I liked it. It was different as well. I think mine's definitely different. The B-roll was thrown together in about 5 minutes before we came live on air and sent across to you hurriedly. I tried to do a little bit more talking to camera because I've not done that much on some of the other B-roll, but then because I've been rushing, I didn't manage to get it kind of finished off how I wanted to. So I kind of threw it all together and tried to use as many different kinds of motion, both in the beginning of the B-roll, but then later on just to kind of demonstrate the difference between freezing motion, getting motion blur in your subject, and also getting panning so that you get the motion blur in the background. So those were the three that I kind of focused on at the end, but during the actual B-roll itself, it was kind of the slow motion. There's time lapse. There's hyperlapse, which is kind of speeded up video, which again helps create motion throughout. And there's also I think there's a bit of panning in the actual video as well. Have you got it all received and ready to go then?
Well, yeah, that's what the little glitch was there. I was just putting it in place, and it's all ready to go. Whatever you are.
Let's see what I got up to in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So this week is all about motion, and as per James's video last week, it's absolutely chucking it down outside. So I'm laid down in the garage drinking coffee, because today is Halloween, so I have something to do before I try and do any motion. So let's have a look at that. Wah, ah, 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 ah. So now we've got that out of the way, shall we see what we can find for motion? See you in a minute. So you might be wondering what all that had to do with motion, and well, let me tell you. As you probably saw, there was camera motion in the actual video shots as I moved and panned across the pumpkin, but also there was time lapse, which is a form of stop motion, where you're taking a picture every so many seconds and then putting it all together in a video so it looks kind of sped up. And then there was also hyperlapse, which is, again, it's kind of sped up video. So both of those were actually within the video as well. But both of those are from a kind of video and videography kind of perspective. So what we're going to do now is we're going to have a look at what you can do to freeze motion with photography, and also what you can do to kind of convey motion. And because the weather's so rubbish outside, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and do it all using this ball. So let's go take a look. first picture is pretty much freezing the motion as the ball was going past. It was pretty dark in the room, so you've got quite a lot in focus in the background, so I've not nailed focus on this one, but you pretty much get the idea of where we're at with it, and that one's freezing the ball, so it looks as if it's just sat there on the carpet. And the next one is quite a bit slower, and this one you can see the motion of the ball. The actual ball is blurry as it's rolling past, and again it is slightly out of focus, so you have to kind of forgive me on that one. And then the last one is even slower shutter speed, and I've panned along with the ball, so the ball is much more in focus. There's not much motion blur on the ball, but you do have motion blur on the background. Some kind of better examples that I've got that don't involve me laying on my living room carpet showing you my balls is this one here. Obviously Formula 3 race car, fairly bang on in focus, but I'm panning with the car so the background is blurry. Got a bit of motion blur on the background, 500th of a second on that one. This one, again, you've got a very small gap in the fence to capture the actual car, which is in focus, but yet you've still got motion blur in the background again at 1/500th of a second. The next one, slightly different, pretty much almost frozen the car and the background. The only motion that you can kind of see there is in the wheels. But again, these cars were a bit slower than the other ones, so a lot of it is trial and error with it. And then this one, don't know how it comes across on the screen, but pretty much the car is out of focus and blurry because of the motion, and it's the background and the spectators that are actually in focus. So a bit of a misfire on that one. But as you can see, 1/2500th of a second, that one. These cars were so fast, it was definitely challenging. And that's Jensen Button driving for McLaren back in the day. And this one's just a little bit playing around really, because it's, if you can't do it, just fake it. This one's 2 layers in Photoshop, motion blur added to the background, and then masked out the car. So it looks as if it's going quite fast. And this is the original. So as you can see, kind of before and after on that one. And then the final one is just a shot that I like. This was kind of after the race as they were going around slowly. You've got, I believe it's Fernando Alonso and Jensen Button kind of pulled up beside each other. Just a bit of a cool shot to finish off with. So yeah, I hope a lot of that makes sense. But again, it's this different day and age with digital. You can use trial and error. You can try different shutter speeds. You can try different panning speeds. Have a look at what you've got on the back of your camera and then adjust accordingly. Especially with something that is really fast. So there you go. Back to James.
Types of blur. It was quite interesting that with the panning that you did. Yeah. 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 Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think with the car ones, obviously, I think that told it better because you were able to see, um, particularly the wheels on the motion there. Um, but if I'm being honest with you, this isn't something that I do often because my main thing is weddings. The chances of me deliberately blurring something is, you know, deliberately anyway. Yeah, yeah. If you do the odd one accidentally, then that's fine. But I think that technique is, for me anyway, would be one that I would do similar to this when you're going out and you just want to capture something as a project. Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, the first dance is a completely different technique to the rest of the day, really, isn't it? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I thought it was good that one. Did you? Is that what you had in your head to do all the time then, or? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I was going to do. I was thinking about light trails, and I know last week I said that um, it might be a chance for me to do it because last time I was on lockdown and I couldn't get out to really do anything. But again, I was just thinking, well, maybe I should just leave that for another time rather than doing that. And I think we both come up with something, especially that I wasn't expecting. I mean, I was almost predictable, really, in my view, uh, with the car thing. Um, but yeah, I thought that was good, and I guess with yours, it was more like a tutorial in a way, wasn't it? Where you're explaining. Hmm. Yeah, true. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, maybe next week if we do something along the lines of actually editing tutorial. So a lot of the tasks that we've done are where we've actually been out with the camera, and we haven't really done one specific to what we do in editing, have we? So that might give people a break from our house. Yeah, but Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, as always, if you got any questions or anything, if you want to set any tasks for us, we will give anything a go as long as we are sticking by rules. It's a bit of a shame really because we've still haven't managed to meet up again, have we, since we did the one at Kirkstall Abbey? So yeah. Ah yes. Yeah, it is. Yeah. So I hope you liked the videos that we did today. I guess two different types of styles, weren't there, really? Um, and I guess that is a good example of you know, your own take on something. You know, whatever I think of doing is obviously what I'd set out to do, and then obviously I was, when you were talking about yours, I was trying to think of what could you have done, and yeah, it worked out really well. Yeah, yeah, cool. Right, so are we out of time for tonight? Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. See you next week. So, if you want to leave a like, comment, or anything, but yeah, until next Wednesday, we'll see you then. See you later.